Hello, and welcome to the South Dakota Farm to School Tour. This tour is an effort of SDSU Extension. My name is Anna Barr, and I am a graduate student and dietetic intern working as a graduate assistant for SDSU Extension Food and Families for the 2019-2020 academic year. Thank you for joining me. Throughout the tour, many resources will be referred to. All links to these resources will be provided on our website. Today, we will be going on a virtual tour around the state of South Dakota to explore farm-to-school programs. In this tour, we will start with background information on farm-to-school programs. We will then go into detail about the three components of farm-to-school programs, which are local foods procurement, school and youth gardens, and in-class education. Then, we will end with overviews from national and South Dakota farm-to-school programs and a brief conclusion. So let's get started with farm to school background information. What is farm to school? In one description by the National Farm to School Network, farm to school changes food purchasing and education practices of education settings to connect communities with fresh, healthy food from local producers. Education settings includes K-12 schools and more, such as preschools, after-school programs, universities, or others. As shown in the photo on the left, the three core elements of farm to school are in-class education, local procurement, and school gardens. The benefits of farm to school programs are widespread and reach many members of a community. Kids gain access to nutritious, high-quality local food and benefit from in-class education related to agriculture or nutrition. Environmentally, the benefits include reduced transportation miles and oftentimes less resources toward processing, packaging, and storage, since the item is being used locally and fresh. There is also a reduction in the amount of plate waste from meals with locally procured items. School food service departments see an increase in school meal participation. Farmers benefit from a new, often large, market and the financial opportunity that the school market brings. Schools are often the largest restaurants in town when we think of the number of people served daily and the quantity of foods processed. And ultimately, communities win from opportunities to build family and community engagement around food and growth in local economy. Farm to school is backed by research. In just a few studies listed here, we see that the benefits of farm to school programs are more widespread than one might think. As indicated by reduced plate waste, farm to school participants consume more fruits and vegetables, contributing to improved health and well-being. Attitudes about consuming local fruits and vegetables and trying new produce increase with agricultural experiences, which can be provided in multiple ways through farm-to-school programs, such as farm tours, school gardens, or classroom experiments, such as seed germination. In a 2011 study, high school garden programs were shown to improve health and nutrition, social skills, behavior, and leadership skills. And in one very interesting 2013 study, garden-based learning was shown to reduce school failures and dropouts. For just a little more reason behind why farm to school, these are quotes from K-12 food service directors right here in South Dakota. First, it is worthwhile, helps South Dakota producers, and exposes our children to great produce and other items which are often better quality than something shipped here. Second, the Washington Springs food service director experiences better quality knowing where exactly the food comes from and who the person is means a lot. Finally, the Aberdeen food service director relates that though fresh garden carrots are more work for the staff, students do appreciate the flavor over the purchased product. Teams are an important aspect of successful and lasting farm-to-school programs. Next, we will see examples of successful farm-to-school teams located right here in South Dakota. Our first stop on the tour is in White, South Dakota at the Deubrook School District. Deubrook provides an excellent example for a farm-to-school team. The Deubrook school system has partnered with Dual Area Development Incorporated to certify the school kitchen as a commercial kitchen for producers to use when not being used by school food service professionals. Processing items in certain ways, such as dehydrating or freezing, can extend shelf life, so schools can serve them to students in the off-season. All of the groups in orange are an example of a group in the farm-to-school team. In this short paragraph, we see 5 different entities involved. The partnership between Deubrook School District and producers is an example of a shared use agreement. Oftentimes, school districts close their properties after public hours. Shared use agreements like this one can reduce barriers to local food production. Shared use agreements could be formal, based on a legal document, or informal, and could include more than the kitchen, such as garden or recreation spaces. Not only are these entities working to make the program successful, many of them are also benefiting from each other. For our second team example, we will stop in Wall, South Dakota. In the past couple of years, Wall has developed a strong beef-to-school program. Oftentimes, the focus of farm-to-school programs is put on fruits and vegetables, but meat is another area that holds a lot of potential, especially for South Dakota, where we produce a lot of beef, and fruit and vegetable seasons are often not in line with school calendars. In a presentation about the Wall Beef to School program in November of 2019, the following were named through the presentation as they described the process of getting this program started. This serves as an excellent example of team building. The entities involved to some degree included the rancher selling the beef, the butcher who processed the beef for the school board, the agriculture committee of the Economic Development Board, the head cook of schools, the ag teacher, FFA students who learn about beef to school and prepare lessons for K-5 students, Dakota warehouse where the beef is stored frozen until it can be taken to the school, South Dakota Department of Education Child and Adult Nutrition Services Office, South Dakota State University to run E. coli tests for the beef for food safety precautions, and the Animal Industry Board that does plant inspections. Every entity had a unique role and contributed expertise to different areas of getting started. The long list is not to make the Beef to School program look complicated. Rather, each entity plays a role that the others could not, and together make getting started and persisting in the program smoother. This shows a list of possible partners for farm to school programs. It's possible that many more are possible. Each program is unique and may have different goals achievable by different people. The main point is that working together strengthens teams, brings more perspectives and expertise, and overall makes the work lighter for each person involved. Now we will shift gears and focus on the local food procurement component of farm to school. The term local does not have a standard definition for farm to school programs. Rather, it is defined by the school and may vary by product. For example, Aberdeen defines local as anything produced within a 150-mile radius, while Wessington Springs defines local as produced within a 100-mile radius. The figure on the bottom represents different options for defining local, using Pierre as an example. On the left, we have a regional or large radius example that reaches beyond South Dakota. In the middle figure, local is defined as anything coming from the state of South Dakota. The last figure shows a small radius around Pierre, maybe 30 to 50 miles or so. All of these options are fine for defining local and will depend on what is available in the area and what transportation options are for delivering items from farm to school. It is possible that Pierre could define local as within 30 miles for fruits and vegetables, but as statewide for meat. This is all determined by each program. There are a few options when looking to purchase local foods for farm-to-school programs. The most common of these options is local producers and value-added vendors. This could be a local rancher, produce farmer, gardener, beekeeper, or baker as examples. Food hubs are facilities that manage the aggregation, distribution, and/or marketing of local food products. There are 2 food hubs in South Dakota, which we will discuss shortly. Food distribution companies may provide options for local products. They may even already be providing local products to schools as part of their normal operation. You can reach out to current food distributors hired by the school for details on product sourcing. DoD Fresh supplies schools with U.S.-grown fresh fruits and vegetables, along with deliveries to military installations. This includes food distribution programs on Indian reservations. With DoD Fresh, there is an option to choose locally grown products when available. Lastly, foods grown at the school in a school garden or greenhouse or aquaponics unit are excellent sources for local procurement. When searching for local foods, South Dakota has a couple of great online tools. The first is the Local Foods Directory from Dakota Rural Action. In this directory, you can find local foods by region or type. The results will provide the name of the farm and the contact information. The second resource is the South Dakota Specialty Producers Association. Among other resources for specialty producers and consumers, the website offers an interactive page titled Producers and Products, in which you can select a type of agriculture, such as bees and honey, dairy and cheese, or fruit. And the results page will give a map of South Dakota with pins on each producer and contact information. Both of these resources are excellent tools in finding farm-to-school partners, as well as for consumers in general to begin purchasing local foods. South Dakota has 2 food hubs. A food hub is a centrally located facility with a business management structure that facilitates the aggregation, storage, processing, distribution, and/or marketing of locally or regionally produced food products, as defined by the USDA. The Dakota Fresh Food Hub serves Sioux Falls and a 100-mile radius around Sioux Falls. The Black Hills Food Hub serves the Black Hills area. Food hubs are a great place to search for local foods to procure for a farm-to-school program. For example, a food service director in Yankton can order such things as apples, carrots, or other common produce from the wholesale buyers page of the Dakota Fresh Food Hub website. Orders are placed on Mondays or Tuesdays and delivered on Thursdays. Food hubs are a good option for schools because they combine local foods from a variety of farmers to offer wholesale quantities that may not otherwise be available from just one local farm. Farm-to-school programs can accept a variety of products from their meal and snack programs. This page details the different types of acceptable food items, which include raw, unprocessed, fresh, whole produce, processed foods such as cut, cooked, preserved, or prepared foods that are prepared in a licensed food serve establishment. Examples of processed foods include canned vegetables, cheese, yogurt, honey, and baked goods. Meats slaughtered or processed under inspection in USDA or South Dakota establishments are acceptable. Poultry from South Dakota and donated traditional foods served to primarily Native American students are exempt from inspection requirements. Fish that are commercially harvested and processed are acceptable, along with eggs from a licensed egg handler, grader, or dealer. Milk that is pasteurized, grade A, and meets vitamin A and vitamin D requirements are acceptable, as well as game animals slaughtered under inspection in a USDA or South Dakota establishment. There is not one correct path to take when establishing a farm-to-school program, but the questions here are important to consider when getting started. Pretend you are a school nutrition director and want to purchase apples from an apple orchard 25 miles from your school. You will want to consider if this is an approved source. As we saw on the last slide, fresh, whole, unprocessed foods are approved, so the answer is yes. This is an approved source. You will want to contact the producer. The best time is early to late winter as they are planning for the upcoming season. Does 25 miles qualify as local as defined by your school? The answer is likely yes, but each program will be different. Other good questions to consider include, when are apples in season and how can they be incorporated into the menu when they are available? Are there season extending methods such as freezing or dehydrating that can be used to serve them outside the fresh season? Getting in contact with the producer should happen early, and topics to consider include, what will the apples be used for? When will you need them delivered? What quality and food safety standards are in place? What will the price, budget, and quantity be? Can you come to an agreement that makes financial sense for both you and the producer? These are examples of things to think about in getting started in a farm-to-school program. They are also detailed in the South Dakota Farm-to-School Resource Guide. If you are a food service director looking for more details regarding local food procurement, I recommend reading through the South Dakota Farm to School Resource Guide linked on this webpage, which includes helpful resources such as the USDA Guide for Procuring Local Foods for Child Nutrition Programs. The USDA also offers a thorough procurement guide with the same title, which is also provided via link on this page. A school does not need to sell only local foods every day in order to have a vibrant farm-to-school program. Simply including a local product in the school's salad bar when available is a great and easy way to start. An easy way to get started in farm-to-school is to plant a small garden and provide the harvest in the salad bar when it is ready. Local foods can be incorporated into new recipes by developing recipes or meal cycles to accommodate the farm-to-school program. If your school is interested in new recipes, the Lunchbox is a wonderful website and resources that has developed fresh, healthy recipes for school food service scales. The Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Program is a federally assisted program that provides fresh fruit and vegetables outside the lunchtime to children at eligible elementary schools. Eligibility depends on the percent of students on free and reduced lunches. This brings us to Huron, our next stop on the tour. In an example of local food procurement, Huron School District has partnered with Plainview Foods to source fresh produce snacks through the Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Program. The Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Program is a federally assisted program to provide fresh fruits and vegetables to youth outside the regular meal times in an effort to increase variety of foods available to students and improve students' diets. Schools are eligible for the Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Program if they have 50% or more students in the National School Lunch Program on free and reduced meals. Procuring locally for the Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Program is a great way to start with farm to school. This brings us to our third major component of farm to school, school and youth gardens. School and youth gardens occur whenever students participate in hands-on learning in a garden setting. This could be at a garden on school property, in partnership with a community garden, or in collaboration with a nearby farm. Wagner, South Dakota has an exceptional school garden program that we will now take a closer look at. Wagner has many forms of school gardens, including their outdoor school garden, geodome, and aquaponics units. For year-round garden education, the district has a summer garden program as well as farm-to-school education during the school year, in which students in high school botany, middle school horticulture, and life skills classes regularly use the garden spaces. Students of all ages from other classes use the garden spaces when class topics are relevant, such as elementary science units about plants. Between summer and school year gardening programs, one teacher remarks, "Our students get passionate about learning when they garden, and they learn that they can be successful when they make goals." Along with the gardening education, students are taught garden cooking and canning skills with recipes such as zucchini muffins, pickles, potato salad, and banana bread. Students are even able to grow their own bananas in the school's geodome. Rather than taking produce to the school cafeteria, teachers have decided to teach students to prepare foods themselves from the garden produce. This can enhance student independence as they grow older and influence their likelihood to eat healthfully and cook on their own. The Geodome in Wagner was a project proposed by middle school students and approved by the school board in 2015. A geodome is a strong and wind-friendly greenhouse that can be used year-round to grow food. Even tropical items, such as banana plants and the limes shown in the bottom right photo, are able to grow in the geodome, allowing for a wide variety in biodiversity and educational opportunities. The geodome is used to maximize learning experiences, rather than produce a lot of yield. All levels of students get access to the geodome, including middle school horticulture and high school botany students, elementary students when learning about plants, life skills students, and summer school students. There is one large aquaponics unit in the geodome. The tilapia pool component of the item is shown here, as well as units in middle school and high school, which students have built themselves. The aquaponics units are used to teach food security and food sovereignty, as they offer an alternative food source and can operate year-round indoors. Students plant vegetables on the grow beds and later harvest the vegetables. They can also eventually harvest the tilapia from the system. Teachers recognize the ability to teach many lessons stemming from the produce of the geodome, in both categories of academics and lifelong skills. Teachers of this program in Wagner hope that it influences students to share their successes with those closest to them and with the community. Students have discussed the potential for starting aquaponics units for area nursing homes. They also see potential to work with Wagner area master gardeners. Lake Andes is our first stop on the tour for a school garden example. Andes Central School District in Lake Andes has partnered with the Food and Wellness Council of Lake Andes to provide a community garden located on school grounds. For this collaboration, the city provides water free of charge. The council maintains upkeep of the garden. The school garden received a sub-grant to purchase garden plants. Fruits and vegetables harvested in the fall are donated to the school, food pantry, and community members in need. The Farm to School sub-grant also funded the installation of a greenhouse, and students are provided nutrition education lessons. Not only is this a great example of a school garden, it shows the power of Farm to School programs to strengthen community ties and make an impact community-wide. Our next stop is to visit a youth garden in Standing Rock. The Boys and Girls Club in Standing Rock is starting an indoor garden for youth. This is a great example of Farm to School programs reaching outside the K-12 school system. Our next major destination is the third and final component of Farm to School programs, in-class education. In-class education includes any lesson plans that provide learning opportunities pertaining to agriculture and/or food production, healthy eating, and nutrition. There are many resources provided by groups such as USDA Food and Nutrition Services and SDSU Extension. A few of these resources include Grow It, Try It, Like It, a curriculum for preschool and Head Start students. Serving Up My Plate, a yummy curriculum for 1st through 6th graders. And Pick It, Try It, Like It, for 6th through 12th graders. Links to these curricula are provided in the resources on this page. Our South Dakota highlights for in-class education come from East Middle School in Rapid City and Western Dakota Tech. At East Middle School in Rapid City, 2 teachers are working together to provide a STEM class titled From Garden to Table. This class is an elective that sees 120 students per year for 90 minutes each week. Students learn about sustainability, soil, aquaponics, and other relevant topics to garden to table. The aquaponics project, which is pictured here, was started with collaboration from Western Dakota Tech and their aquaponics projects. With all they have going for this program, their eyes are on expanding in the future. The vision is to scale up the aquaponics growing system to provide fresh fruits and vegetables via a food truck, not only to the East Cafeteria, but also to other schools in the area. Western Dakota Tech in Rapid City has received national award and recognition for their work. Western Dakota Tech uses aquaponics to teach skills in electrical trades, environmental engineering, and farm and ranch management, while also impacting local food security and food system sustainability. The program tackles food security in the Rapid City area by creating a growing system that can provide fresh food all year long. Electrical trade students designed, built, and programmed an aquaponics unit. They took their technically advanced aquaponics design to the Community College Innovation Challenge in Washington, D.C., and were awarded first place. Efforts now focus on improving the design to maximize yield and scaling up the operation. There is a greenhouse being built to house an aquaponics unit to allow for the expansion. Future directions include building a geodesic dome for aquaponics units and to provide fresh fruits and vegetables for the Rapid City K-12 school system, even starting with lettuce in the spring of 2020. East Middle School and Western Dakota Tech are doing great things when it comes to in-class education for farm-to-school programs. So, what can we learn from them? First, their work together reminds us to think of partnerships. Another example of a partnership occurring in our state is in Brookings. The Brookings School District has partnered with SDSU to initiate a Farm to Early Learning initiative. A question to ponder is, what organizations are in your area that you could partner with in a farm-to-school effort? Second, they remind us to look for grants. Western Dakota Tech received a Sustainable Agriculture Grant through the USDA and East Middle School also received a grant for their program. The USDA Office of Community Food Systems website has grants and loans that support farm-to-school activities. A third lesson from Western Dakota Tech and East Middle School is to think of the greater impact. For them, and for many across South Dakota, it is improving food security in a food desert and inspiring and empowering youth to overcome the grand challenges of providing food for future generations. We have reached a different branch on our farm-to-school journey, where we will give an overview of the national and statewide farm-to-school statistics from National Farm-to-School Network. The National Farm-to-School Network is an information, advocacy, and networking hub for communities working to bring local food sourcing, school gardens, and food and agriculture education into educational settings. In the 2013-2014 school year, there were 42,587 schools with farm-to-school programs. That's 42% of U.S. schools and 23.6 million students engaged. $789 million were spent on local foods throughout the U.S. 7,101 school gardens were in operation, and 46 states had policies supportive of farm-to-school programs. Now, how do those statistics look in South Dakota? In the 2013-2014 school year, 213 schools and 36 districts had farm-to-school programs. That's 31% of school districts and 57,847 students engaged. $100,450 were invested in local food, which is about 3% of total school food service budget. 31 school gardens were in operation, and 24% of districts were engaging preschool children in farm-to-school. 15% of districts were using local foods in summer meal programs. When we look at schools with farm-to-school programs, we see that 88% were procuring local fruits, 73% were procuring local vegetables, 9% local milk, and 18% local meat and poultry. This survey occurs every 5 years, and the results from the 2019 study should be coming out in 2020. We have seen the national and statewide results, but each district has a profile too. This is the Farm-to-School Census webpage, where you can find all the Farm-to-School Census results as well as state and district level results. Start by going to Farm-to-School Census website, click on Check out the district level results, select South Dakota, enter the name of the district, and select Go. Our final district on our Farm-to-School tour is in Milbank, where the Farm-to-School Census has given a special award. Milbank won a One in a Melon award for their farm-to-school program, in which high school FFA students tend garden vegetables in a greenhouse and offer vegetables to students through the cafeteria salad bars. We see in this example all three components of farm-to-school. FFA students represent in-class education. The garden represents school and youth gardens, and salad bar shows the local food procurement aspect. The future is growing. Now that we have seen farm-to-school programs across South Dakota, we look to plans for the future. School high tunnels are being built at Youth and Family Services in Rapid City, Little Wound Schools in Pine Ridge, Lake Andes Community Garden on Andes Central School grounds, and Lower Brule School System. Brookings has just begun the Farm to Early Learning Initiative. The SDSU Local Foods Education Center is beginning to supply vegetables and fruits for the campus C-stores. Western Dakota Tech and East Middle School are growing education programs and fruit and vegetable production and distribution. All these great projects lead us to the question, how can you grow the future with Farm to School? Thank you for joining me on this Farm to School journey. We will just take another minute to wrap up with some key takeaways. We have seen that Farm to School can look a lot of different ways. Local is defined by each program and can be different for each type of product within each district. The three components of Farm to School are in-class education, local procurement, and school and youth gardens. Successful Farm to School programs may include one of these components or up to all three. A variety of foods are accepted for local procurement, not just fruits and vegetables, though these are the most common. Partnerships are key and Farm to School should be a team effort. It may take many people to make a program successful, but there are also a lot of people who benefit. And finally, the future is growing. As a final note, this is not an all-inclusive tour of Farm to School programs in South Dakota. Rather, it is a group of highlights. If you would like to learn more about farm to school programs, you may reference the South Dakota Farm to School Guidebook or contact an extension field agent in your area. A list of references and resources is provided on this page for your easy access. Thank you for joining me and have a great rest of your day.